Hello everybody, I'm back again with another video, and today I thought it would be fun to um, hold on a minute. Where is Warrior Cats Ultimate Edition? I was playing it earlier. Where did it go? And it is nowhere on my continue. Ay, ay, ay. Well, that's not fun. I could have sworn I was playing it earlier. What? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I am very quickly going to look it up. Oh, yeah, I do have it. And one of my Roblox friends is on it. Oh, that's right. You are on it. I did recently visit it. Why was it not? And yeah. So, oh yeah, I didn't continue my talk of NPC's Wikipedia. So, for those of you unfamiliar with NPCs on this game, NPCs in the context of this game are ones that, like I talked about in the first video on this game, are technically entities that are not scripted by the developers in the game. They are not entities that the developers themselves had decided to put into the game. They are not related to scripted events in the game, and they go around and haunt private servers, at least those of us who have Robux and can afford private servers with them. Now, in the context of that, NPCs are mysterious entities that, and so different ones technically have different sound cues and signs that they're in someone's private server, and they basically, like if you've seen them, if you have a private server, you may or may not recall that in my first video on here yesterday that I had decided to, I just recently decided to get back into recording. I found my motivation for it. So to those of you on YouTube who are subscribed to my channel, I wanted to make these videos as an apology to them. I didn't get my mojo back until just yesterday because I felt like I needed to have a roleplay with Phantom Kit and his story. Now, I did join one ShadowClan RP on here one day, and the RP had someone that was already named Birchclaw, who did not at all look like the Birchclaw that I have created. The one I have is an OC, own character. I'm going to check leaderboard and see if there are any queens or expecting chiquettes. And this ShadowClan RP just to see if I can be their kit. Because I don't think, actually it would be just better if I just go over to where they're at. Oh, that's right, back to the NPC thing that I was bringing up earlier. NPCs in that context are entities that you don't know how or why they're in the game if they're not scripted to be there. Now, I have recently been watching videos of them on NPC WCUE Hub's YouTube channel, and I watched one video where her and a friend of hers were hunting an NPC known as Eggshell, who is a white cat with gray, sort of like unusually sort of dark gray, sorry, I don't have your fish, Acorn Kit. I ate it. I ate your fish. It was not yours. I needed to make sure that Phantom Kit had food to eat. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. So NPCs, like I was trying to say earlier, however, yeah, so NPCs in that context are NPCs that, oh yeah, that video I was watching, NPC WCUE Hub YouTube was, on YouTube, had a video where her and a friend of hers, apparently they both have Discord with each other, and the friend of hers had somehow gotten kicked from the experience and had a picture of it, and NPC WCUE Hub in the video had asked her if they could show the picture of that message. And that friend of hers did show the picture of what the message had said. And so it's believed that the NPC known as Eggshell may actually have been a hacker of sorts. There are NPCs like that, and one of them, of course, is named Mother. However, she either kicks or bans you from the experience in your own private server if you manage to rage her by spamming the names of her 5 confirmed children in the all chat. If you do that, or say all NPCs are dead in caps lock, then you start getting the thing where she has a sound cue for it when she's raged like that. And hearing a creepy music from her, girl, do you not see that I am not born yet? But I suppose there are no queens in this RP, so 4 moons it is. Making myself 4 moons old. Sure, they meant to say play. And I say sure because I am unsure if I really want to do that or not. Hunter, what are you proposing? Oh my gosh. This random person is acting like they're the leader. You're not the leader of the clan. You're not lead nor deputy. Oh, never mind. I was about to tell that random person that they were not the lead nor the deputy of the clan. And they just randomly poofed, and I assume, and I hope we never see that person again. So yeah. Anyway, for summoning NPCs, I don't know why, but on all of their wikis, you have to turn head turning and gain and any and all music that you have off. So, yeah, I don't know how you go about that. Okay, Rose, if you are 9 months old, hi Acorn Kit. You learned to be sneaky, Acorn Kit. Is that it? And there we go. Oh gosh, it's that person again. That's the unnamed person. I think that's the same person that said that was trying to act like they were the lead or deputy, but they're not really that. There was a person on the Shadow Clan Rock here that was trying to have attention paid to them, but they weren't really worth paying attention to. I was about to say 9K, I meant okay. So I'm sorry for any background noise from myself that the people watching, that the viewers watching this may be hearing. I just have allergies. I can't really control that. So, yeah. So yeah, the random person that was on there didn't have a roleplay name. I don't know whether to be a River Clan one for this or a Wind Clan cat for this. I am going to set myself, and I have no idea. Golden Star just says watches her clan. Yeah. So I don't know whether to be Thunder Clan, Wind Clan, or River Clan. Oh gosh, you got me. Oh wait, that's a crouch sit. Okay, so his voice is going to be a bit raspy, so excuse me for the random thing I'm about to do. You got me, Phantom Kit said. He was always one of those kits that never talked much. His brother Clouded Kit, on the other hand, was completely different. He was always energetic and always enjoyed having a conversation. Birchclaw, right when the two were born, could tell the two apart from their personalities and their looks. She had named Phantom Kit his name because he didn't know who his birth father was. He always assumed it was Burning Flame. However, a she-cat by the name of Night-Eye, a completely black she-cat, had always teased Phantom Kit and Clouded Kit in a sort of let's be mean to the half-rogue kits by saying that Phantom Kit's and Clouded Kit's father was a rogue Tom that Birchclaw had met. And she had, oh my god, I'm bored of EXP roleplays. You know what? No, I'm leaving the game. I can't. Sorry. I am not dealing with EXP roleplays. Nah. They're completely rude to people that are non-EXP, and I get very bored of EXP only roleplays very fast. Like, I joined one RP once on Animal Life Forest roleplay, and I got kicked out for not being experienced. Now, I ask, what sense in anything does that make? Because, for one thing, if you have an EXP, just put in your in your roleplay's description that it's for experienced people only, or EXP for short. Because if you don't, then there are going to be a non-EXP people that are going to want to basically they're going to want to join the EXP roleplays, and then they end up finding out that they're getting kicked from the roleplays or banned from them because they're not experienced. Now, I don't foresee how it makes any sense that EXP only roleplays should be the only ones that exist. So, oh yeah, back to what I was saying. Now, I didn't record. I did have a Roblox friend once, and one day I went NPC hunting with them. However, what ended up happening from that is that we had basically gotten to the point where we had been, so we were doing the normal chant for blood, which includes saying his name in all chat after clearing all 3 chat parts. After you clear those, you go to all chat, and you in the group basically chant blood's name in the public all chat. And when you do that, the group doing it all of the chanters there have to wait for the amount of time it says on his actual wiki, and then that same group has to then start going to after that, then the group, except for the side sleeping sacrifice playing person, then has to okay. Anyway, after they wait for that amount of time, they then have to run to the Thunderpath, the road, from the Rogues and Loners barn, because that's where you have to chant his name in all caps. And supposedly when you do that, and supposedly when they do this, and whoever owns the private server, you know you've successfully summoned him if you hear all of his sound cues. According to his wiki, his sound cues are panting, barking, and footsteps. And if you hear all of his sound cues, congrats, that means you have summoned him. I don't know what he does if he's raged. What I do know are just stuff that I've read off of his wiki. So, when you follow all the steps that he has, you then have to go to Everybody in the group except for the person role playing as the sacrifice, that person is the only one allowed to be kit sized, but everybody in the group has to have white morphs. And supposedly when the sacrifice also has to do the side sleep animation. I would know this, I've done it myself, and I didn't record that happening to me, my Roblox friend, and the people in our NPC hunting group when this happened, but after they went to the Thunderpath, I saw something run so incredibly fast, I didn't even get a good look at it, but it kind of looked like Luna's normal colors. Not her rage color, but her normal color, the normal black and white color that she has. But it ran like so unbelievably fast that it didn't, like, from what I saw, it didn't look at me. It just kind of ran without even acknowledging that I was there. And I saw it run to the road, and I was like, oh no, it's going after my Roblox friend and the group that were just with me. And it had no sound cues. No sound cues at all. And I don't know how it happened. I told one other Roblox friend of mine, shout out to that Roblox friend of mine, whose user name is usually Alien, and they end up picking a morph that looks exactly like that name suggests, somehow. And I was just on the Venn Discord server of NPC WCUE Hub, and in the sightings chat on that server, I told my story of that happening, and I don't know if anyone has let me know what NPC that was, because it had no sound cues whatsoever and showed up completely out of nowhere. And I still don't know. I haven't seen it since, but I found it so odd because, like, it had no sound cues. And after I met up with the group I was with and that NPC friend who owned that private server, I quickly told them at the Moonstone after I was there with them about what I saw. And one person in that group, I told them in team chat that I sure hope that really wasn't Shapeshifter in disguise, because if so, then I can say goodbye to my account then if that was Shapeshifter, because I have no idea what abilities Shapeshifter has. But I didn't want to stick around Rogues and Loaders to find out. I just wanted to be with my Roblox friend and the group so that I could tell them what I saw. And one of the people there asked me if it looked like Luna with her normal black and white colors, and I said yeah, but ran extremely fast and showed up with no sound cues whatsoever. Like, it just appeared out of thin air. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not an I can speak it, I swear. It's not an exaggeration. It literally showed up in the server with no warnings for it whatsoever. And also another weird thing, it had 0 sound cues. So I didn't hear it coming, but I also didn't foresee it coming either. And it was really weird. I haven't seen it since, but oh my gosh, was that terrifying. If I were to see it again, now I can have video proof, thanks to Bob Eisen, for letting me use their recorder so that I can have video proof of things like this. Now, that thing that happened, I didn't exactly have a chance of recording it because I didn't have anything to record with. But now I do. If I ever see it again, I will be trying to see if I can video it. If I can record it with what I'm recording with right now, then I will certainly, I would most certainly love to have a like video proof of it being there, because I had no idea it was there until I saw it come out of thin air without any warnings. It had no sound cues. Kind of looked like Luna's normal tuxedo cat colors, but ran extremely fast to the direction of the road. And only me, the Roblox friend, the group, and I, we were the only ones. We were the only people on our friend's private server at the time it was happening. So I know it was none of them because they were all at the road when this happened. But I don't know what NPC that was, and I really sincerely hope it wasn't Shapeshifter, because if it was, then I'm not sticking around in private servers to find out if it's him or not, because I don't really know. Oh yeah, I was going to introduce this map. This is my fan-made roleplay map of Poppy Playtime. Now, unlike the Canyon Poppy Playtime, this is going to be a roleplay map, and it is my fan interpretation currently of what I think Chapter 5 is going to look like. Because I think Chapter 5, based on however many teasers and teaser trailers it has, and however many characters are teased for it, that it may or may not have an idea for critter OCs called the Silly Critters. I played on Animal Life Forest RP once, and someone gave me the idea for their name. And that is where the idea of them being called the Silly Critters comes from. And so we have Gifty Griffin, a Christmas color scheme griffin, like critter. He is the first of the Silly Critters that was created, and so he kind of is like the self-proclaimed leader of these Silly Critters. And his job as their leader is making sure that all of them are not slowly going insane. And then we have Sneaky Snake, a cartoony, he's kind of inspired by old cartoon representations of snakes. But his scent is largely like that of a male snake. So whatever scent that male snakes emit as their scent, that is the scent that Sneaky Snake has. So you will definitely know when he is near if you smell that coming from him. But yeah, anyway. Then we have the female members of the Silly Critter. Oh, that's right, we have Artsy Arctic Fox, who is the third male member of the Silly Critters. And Artsy the Arctic Fox is a arts and crafts loving kind of guy. He is his entire color scheme, including his eyes, are largely inspired by the colors of the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights. And so with that in mind, he in large part, his scent is, so Gifty Griffin's scent is peppermint. And then we have we already covered what Sneaky Snake's scent is. I didn't talk about why Sneaky Snake got his name. Let me tell you. He is the self-proclaimed prankster of the Silly Critters. He was created sometime after Gifty Griffin. So Gifty Griffin is his experiment, so yeah, they have their own experiment numbers that go into the 3000s. And so because of that, Gifty Griffin is experiment 3030 because he was the first of their line to be created. Whereas Sneaky Snake was the second one to be made, and so was named 3031. And then you have Gifty Griffin, and then you have Archie Arctic Fox, who is largely 32, because he was second after Sneaky Snake. And then we have, what do we have after this? Oh yeah, Chronodial. And no, he is not Pokemon thing. Chrono Crocodile is a male-colored crocodile. All the colors he has in his color scheme signify that he is indeed a male character. And he is experiment 333. So 3033 is his experiment number that he tends to go by when he's being experimented on. And then the last male of the Silly Critters we have is Patch Trico, formerly known. Oh yeah, so Chrono Crocodile scent is this is where his scent may or may not get disgusting. His sticky scent comes from whatever meat he eats. And so whenever he's being fed his food, his scent, on the other hand, will actually smell like what he ate. So that's how disgusting his scent will get. Oh wait, I didn't get rid of those, did I? Yeah, I didn't do it for here yet. Okay. Phew. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah, so Patch Trico was formerly known as... So yeah, Gifty Griffin was formerly known as Gordon Goodfellow, who was put in play care originally because there was an accident where he lost his birth parent, where he lost his parents at one point, and he was given to play care by Playtime Co. Factory themselves, whose factory workers decided, hey, we need to test this kid for something. And the Goodfellows were the parents that were looking to adopt him. However, the day that they were coming to adopt him, they gave him their last name, and Mr. and Mrs. Goodfellow had once worked for Playtime Co., but they wanted to adopt a kid from Playcare. However, Dr. David, who oversaw the Silly Critters coming to life via the Bigger Bodies experiment after Dr. White, Dr. David had decided to test Gordon, and his parents that were looking to adopt him got told that he had been selected for testing directly from Dr. David himself. They heard the words of that coming from Dr. David himself, the day of it. And Dr. David was taking all of the orphans that would eventually become the silly critters, testing them, and then he would, and then after he had turned them into the silly critters, he had them stay in the prison cells. And Block North and Block South had 2 guards of the respective blocks that had talked about how the 2 different experiments, how the silly critters saw each other and depended on each other, and had noticed that only Patch was the only one not speaking as human. And in a recording session, Dr. David had viewed a tape that recorded what happened between Experiment 1006, aka the prototype, and Patch, aka formerly known as Zane Botello, and had noticed that the human speech voice box of Patch had been crushed by the prototype itself, aka 1006, and Dr. David had ordered the guards of of that one itself to relocate it to where its cell was, and Dr. David never tested Patch Trico with Experiment 1006 ever again due to that. And Patch to this day still has scars of what the prototype itself and its followers did, just because Patch and the silly critters chose to side with Poppy, Kissy Missy, Zoe, and their allies, instead of what had happened to... Because during the Hour of Joy, Patch only killed the humans like Dr. David, Dr. White, who were responsible for pitting him against... He only killed the ones that were responsible for his current form. And the prototype itself didn't really like that, because that villain saw that all of Playtime Co.'s employees were evil. Even the ones that didn't do anything to him, or his followers, they were all considered evil by the prototype itself and its followers, like Catnap and other such followers that sided with it. And when it saw that Patch wouldn't kill all of the humans, it pulled Patch aside and it had Patch be captured. And it gave Patch it had Patch basically in a session where if Patch answered the questions of like why he only killed the ones responsible for experimenting on him, Patch would tell him in his own way that he didn't do it because the humans not responsible for experimenting on him were innocent. And even Poppy herself saw that seeing humans were innocent as well. And when the prototype heard that, it didn't really like hearing that. And so it decided to have one of its followers scar Patch so much to the point where Patch suffers from nightmares from it in his sleep. And he's the last male of the silly critters and is Experiment 334. So he's Experiment 3034. And he was formerly known as Zane Botello, whereas Chronodile, on the other hand, Chrono Crocodile, on the other hand, is a gator-like and is a crocodile-like member of the Silly Critters, and he's the self-proclaimed tough guy of the Silly Critters. If you try to if you mess with he's one of those guys that he's one of those guys that is very much the personality of, you mess with my friends, you mess with me type of guys. And when Chronodial saw the scars that Patch had, he knew immediately what had transpired and wanted to break out of his imprisonment and kill whoever had scarred Patch that way. And Patch still very much has the new visible scars that I've given him and his new updated profile. So, yeah, I very much decided to get this recorded. And just while I'm building it, because after I get this part of the map done, I need to build chapters 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I have zero ideas as to how I'm going to get it all done. Because I'm starting with this section of the map, because then it's like I can just go base that off of where chapters 4, 3, 2, and 1 take place from it. But yeah, then we had gone to the only female members left of the Silly Critters, and they are named Leah Leopard, who is a purple and gold color schemed member of the Silly Critters. And so because of that, her colors are associated with her purple and gold fur color scheme. Are very much like that of the royalty color scheme. And she teaches all of the young girls that no matter what they choose to do in life, they can have any goals that they want. And she teaches them that she teaches every little young girl that your goals can be achieved if you just start by believing in yourself and doing everything right to accomplish said goals. And so that is what Leah Leopard does. Her scent, on the other hand, is that of honey. Patch Trico's scent is that of the let me find what emoji that is on my keyboard. No, go to chat. And it's not going to be in clipboard, I don't think. But his scent is of, yeah, it's going to be in emojis. And so that emoji right here, that, over here, the one I just used, is the scent that Patch Trico has. Leah Leopard, one of the female members, is Experiment 335. Then we come to Experiment 3. She was previously known as Lily. Her personality was that she was always a girl that was always looking out for her friends that now make up the Silly Critters, including herself. And she's very much one of those girls that if you mess with her friends, she's gonna mess with you. And so, for characters like Catnap, they had better watch what they're doing, because Leah Leopard is very much one of those gals that, like, if you start messing with one of her friends, she starts messing with you. So, yeah, it's very much a watch what you're doing around her. She's very much one of those girls that, like, watch what you're doing around me type of girls. And then we come to her Valentine color scheme dolphin-like friend by the name of Dolly Dolphin. Dolly Dolphin used to be known as Daniela, who was always a quiet girl, but also a very shy girl, and wouldn't talk much to anybody she didn't know. And their personalities are different. So Gifty Griffin is the festive type of the silly critters. When he was Gordon Goodfellow, he always made sure to watch out for his friends, and he always made sure to watch their backs. Zane Botello, on the other hand, was the one that, he was a 10-year-old mute boy that the Botello couple had been looking to adopt, and they gave him their name as a last name, and he took that on as a last name. However, they had suddenly went missing, and Zane didn't know what to do without them. They had given him stuff for him to speak without having a voice other than him using sign language. However, when they went missing, he immediately started wondering in his head as to why that was. And one day when he was in Playcare's school, his name had been called over the intercoms of Playcare for him to do testing, and his name had been called to report to Elliot's Express. And when he got there, Dr. David was there, wanting to have his fellow Bigger Bodies Experiment co-workers start wanting to work. When the Elliot's Express did take Zane Botello there, slowly but surely, little bit by little bit, Zane immediately got suspicious that something was up, because Dr. David's co-workers were there, smirking, because they knew what they were going to do to him, and they immediately forcefully restrained him and decided to wait for Dr. David to arrive, and they strapped him down on a operating table, and they began turning him into Patch Trico. They did the same process with Gifty Griffin, RT Arctic Fox, and Chrono Crocodile. And when they did it to Zane, they had turned him into Patch Trico. Experiment 3034, and they gave him a human speech voice box. However, it was crushed when they decided to test him against 1006, aka the prototype itself. Because the prototype itself at that point had asked Patch a question, and when Patch spoke out that he wouldn't harm anyone who hasn't done anything wrong to him, it didn't like that answer and ripped out the voice box that had given Patch the ability to speak again. It allowed him to speak verbally, but now he only communicates like a Trico, which is his current form's design inspiration. So he very much functions like it, but his wings, however, are too short to do any long flights. He does practice doing it with them. However, he's only able to glide different varying distances, but he's also capable of using them. He uses his currently short wings very much like his Trico inspired design, like his Trico design inspiration does, but he's also only able to communicate like that Trico does as well. And he can no longer speak verbally, but he can speak in grumbles, rumbles, growls, snarls, howls, yelps, whimpers, whines, and and also roars. He can also roar like one. When he's angry, he very much roars like one. And his beak is very much designed like a Trico. Now, in Warrior Cat's Ultimate Edition, I did show a bit of what what his armor, what the color scheme of his armor pieces are. So far, he only has the top torso body armor and the helmet. But those are for when Patch's that armor that Patch has is solely for the purpose of he just needs it for like some protection for his back side and his head. His armor, although it looks the way it does, doesn't actually... It's not a permanent thing that stays on him. It is capable of being detached. And so, what would happen in the game is that if he ever makes up being in the game in Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, Patch would very much be one of those characters to at first be cautious of the player. He very much would be in a wary state. His eyes would be that very color that his Trico inspiration is. His Trico inspiration's eyes are when it's cautious of new things it's meeting, or like or when it feels like bad things are about to happen. And Patch would only be cautious of the player until the player presents that they are an ally of Poppy's cause to actually end the prototype and everything that it has done to everyone under its wing. And Patch, if the player does ally with Poppy, Kissy, Missy, Doughy, their allies, and their cause, Patch would be a very fierce protector of that, because Patch will fiercely protect anyone on their side, and he very much will attack like a Trico in combat. So when his eyes give the glow as they do when he's in combat, he would very much show he very much wouldn't tolerate anyone bringing harm to anyone on the side of Doughy, the Poppy, and Kissy Missy and their allies, because Patch would be very, very protective. Patch is very protective on anyone on their cause because he knows what it's like to be lied to by the prototype itself, and Patch does suffer nightmares from what the prototype and its followers did to him for siding with Doughy, Poppy, Kissy Missy, and other toy experiments that had been on their side. And Patch does have the comfort of his fellow silly critters that did exactly what he did, and unlike them, however, the one named Dolly Dolphin was actually one of the first silly critters to show kindness to Patch, and Patch, remembering that, always seeks comfort with the silly critters whenever he's becoming stressed or angered about something. Dolly Dolphin and the other silly critters are always there to make sure that he doesn't do anything that would cause harm to either himself or others around him. Patch's tail, on the other hand, in his current form. Now, Patch is not a shapeshifter, I should mention this. He very much Patch will very much be one of those guys to be quick to defend. Now, in combat, Patch is capable of using his tail like his design inspiration. He's able to use it for combat. He's able to use it for door puzzles that may and other such puzzles that may require voltages of electricity that the game's electricity green hands can't always access. And so Patch's tail filled with electricity. Now, how he got it was that someone on the prototype's side had actually decided to give him a bit of electricity, but it went right to his tail. And so due to that, Patch's tail now conducts it, and just while he's in his bigger body's initiative form, Patch's tail is like a, hey, don't go near that kind of zone. And so anyone on the side of the prototype itself and Dr. Harley Sawyer are always having to be cautious when Patch is in combat with them when he tries to use that tail. Because it is very electric and very full of electricity. And so if they were to accidentally get near that tail, Patch is very much going to position it to where he can use it to strike them. And it's a warning when he positions it like his design inspiration to either stop messing with his friends or he's going to shoot lightning at them from that tail of his. And it's the tip end of the tail that he shoots it from. And his foes who are on the side of the prototype itself, 1006, and Dr. Harley Sawyer, of, hey, don't mess with my friends or my allies or I am going to shoot lightning at you. And he very much will mean it too when he positions it to be that kind of warning, because he'll position it like his design inspiration. And he will very much be ready to shoot lightning from it if the people he's in combat with don't stop messing with those he's allied with. And so, yeah, there we go. So anyways, on to Dolly Dolphin. She is currently the second female member of the Silly Critters. And she is very much Valentine's Day. She's the only Valentine's Day inspired Silly Critter member of the Silly Critters, because her color scheme is very much bright pink and also magenta, and her scent is actually that of sea breeze. I don't know if anyone's ever smelled it before, but that's what Dolly Dolphin's scent is. And then we have, gosh, who am I thinking? Oh yeah, and then there's Otter. Her name is very much spelled Otta. It's also very much pronounced like that as well. And her scent is, I don't know what to make her scent currently. But her scent would she's actually, oh yeah, Dolly Dolphin is, so Leah Leopard is experiment 330, yeah, 5. Dolly Dolphin is experiment 3, is experiment 3036, and then OTA Otter is experiment 337. So she's the third female member of the Silly Critters. When she awoke as her current self, she didn't know who she was at first. And Dr. David was actually the one behind all of these Silly Critters being the subjects of being Bigger Bodies Initiative test subjects. And so Otter didn't know who she was at that point. She had originally been a shy girl that kept to herself because she didn't know what she was. And so she had no idea that she had no idea about anything. She was a shy girl. But when she got introduced to the other Silly Critters who had very much become exactly the same things through the same way that she had been, that she had become her current self, she didn't understand why they were turned into these new bodies. And at first she tried to rid herself. She wanted to rid her entire existence, basically. And when Dr. David saw that on cameras, he immediately had to forcefully sedate him, and Dr. David had his co-workers immediately forcefully sedate her, and no reason for it, just that she was hurting herself, and Dr. David didn't want her doing that anymore, and so he had his co-workers forcefully sedate her to keep her from doing it. And when she woke up, she couldn't remember why she had done it. And neither could the other Silly Critters. She found comfort in them, but especially she found comfort with Patch, which was unusual. Patch had only just met her then, and in his current body, and Patch had no idea who these other Silly Critters were until he started piecing together that they had been turned into the same. And that is where I'm going to stop today's video. Bye!